with this on. Right, let's have a go. Oh, but now it's not showing. How do I? There we go. So, right, I'm going to begin, everybody. So, like I said, my name's Kelly. I'm a nutritional therapist. And for those of you that don't know what a nutritionist is or a nutritional therapist is, I thought I may as well just explain briefly to you, because it might make a little bit more sense as to why I'm doing this talk. So nutrition is essentially the study of nutrients, in food. And a nutritionist or a nutritional therapist is somebody who uses these nutrients in foods to make you as healthy as possible. So, for example, if there's any sort of disease, any illness going on in the body, a nutritionist is someone that will find out where the deficiencies are, find out what the underlying symptoms of any disease or illness are, and we will rectify that through food. And through food is the main source of sort of medicine that we use, as it were. We're trying to steer away from using medication. I mean, obviously, if we need to, then absolutely we do use it. But it's trying to steer away from using unnecessary medication and heal the body naturally through food. And food is such a powerful healer because there is so many incredible nutrients, minerals, vitamins, everything that powers through our body, gives us a strong immune system and makes us really healthy. So a nutritionist is essentially someone that is going to use food to heal the body. And a nutritional therapist is someone who incorporates the entirety of someone's life. So it's not just looking at what you're eating, but it's also looking at your exercise, your lifestyle, your stress levels, how well you sleep, your family situation, your financial situation, because all of these will have a big impact on your body. Not going into it in too much depth, but essentially every factor that you have around you will have an impact on how your body is, how your health is, how your mental health is, how and your physical health is. So a nutritional therapist is someone that takes this all into account. I myself, I specify, my sort of focus area, is in female health, so doing a lot with hormonal imbalance, acne, any sort of polycystic ovaries, that type of thing, and also do a lot of IBS. But a nutritional therapist myself, I can see anybody for a whole wide range of health concerns, which could be cardiovascular disease, thyroid, stress, sleep problems, fatigue, autoimmune conditions. Everything, pretty much anything that is going on with the body can be healed through food, and a nutritional therapist can help you with that. And if anybody is interested, then I'll chat to you at the end if you wanted to speak to me a little bit more in depth if there's anything that you needed some help with. So I'm going to crack straight on with our presentation today. So we're going to be talking a lot about the immune system, specifically whilst we're in isolation for the foreseeable. So we're going to talk about what weakens the immune system, so in particular foods that are going to prevent your immune system from being as strong as it possibly can be. And we're going to talk about what strengthens the immune system. So I think this will be a big one for a lot of people, because there's no point in telling you what you can't eat. You need to know what you can eat to make you as strong and healthy as possible. And then we're going to talk a little bit about staying fit and healthy during isolation, so just some tips and advice for you guys, and then also how to maintain energy and focus when working from home, because I think that'll be a big one for a lot of people. So before we start, I may as well just briefly explain what a virus is. We've been talking about viruses for the last few weeks. It's on every news channel. It's just all over the shop. So essentially, so you know what a virus is. A virus is a pathogen that invades our cells. Now, a virus cannot replicate on its own. It's not able to just replicate, if it's on a surface. It has to be inside a host cell. So our viruses replicate, and then when they replicate and they get to the point where they're starting to, there's a lot of it in the body, the virus has replicated a lot, then it will start to cause us problems and symptoms, and that's where we start to get ill from things. So the immune system is there to prevent this. Now, we have a lot of viruses and pathogens that invade our bodies on a daily basis. There is so many viruses and pathogens out there. We don't get ill from all of them, and that is because our immune system protects us. And just to give you an example of how many types of viruses are out there, you can fit 500 million types of the common cold virus on the end of a needle, the head of a needle. So you see how we're dealing with these are very small microorganisms, but how they can have such a huge effect on us. So our immune system is there to protect us. And our immune system has two types. I'm not going to go into the two types because it's a little bit technical, but essentially the immune system is like our body's army, our body's protection, the soldiers. And it's made up of lots of different cells that seek out and find any pathogens that are in the body, and it kills them, or it prevents them from replicating if they're viruses. So essentially, we can improve our immune system through food, through sleep, through exercise, through our diet is how we create a strong immune system. So we will go into that more. And I just wanted to briefly touch on the gut as well. So our gut is our gastrointestinal system. So basically anything from here all the way down to there. The immune system is mostly in the gut. So 70% of your immune system is found in the gastrointestinal tract or in your gut. Now, if you have got any type of gastrointestinal problems, if you've got problems with your gut, problems with absorption, digestion, IBS, if you're immunocompromised, the likelihood is your immune system will not be as strong as it possibly can be, because our gut has a whole host of bacteria in there. The bacteria is what helps us have a strong immune system. So if we are not able to have a good gut microbiome, our immune system will be impaired. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we can do to keep the gut microbiome nice and strong and healthy, because that will ultimately have an impact on our immune system. So I'm going to go straight into what weakens the immune system, because there's quite a few things, and it's going to be really difficult at a time when a lot of us are self-isolating, we're at home, a lot of the time you're getting bored, you want something to do, you want something to snack on, and unfortunately a lot of the snacky and bad foods are really going to have an impact on the immune system. So just starting at the top, I'm going to explain to you why these things are going to have an impact on the immune system. So starting with refined sugars and artificial sweeteners. Refined sugars and artificial sweeteners have absolutely no nutritional value whatsoever. They in fact deplete nutrients and minerals in the body. So the more refined sugars you have, so if you think anything that's in chocolate bars, biscuits, cakes, sweets, all the nice things, and artificial sweeteners, which you get in a lot of soft drinks, fizzy drinks, again in a lot of processed food, they all deplete nutrients in the body. Now, your immune system needs nutrients and minerals for it to be strong. So if you're putting food into your body that is going to deplete that, you're putting a burden onto the body. So what you want to do is eliminate anything that is going to cause the immune system to have to work even harder. Now, this is particularly important if you are actually ill. So whether you're ill with corona or any other type of illness, you want to make sure that you're not putting another burden onto the body, because sugar is inflammatory, and by that I mean cause a systemic inflammatory reaction in the body. So we want to try and minimize that to make our body work more effectively. So moving on to coffee. Coffee is a big one. Now, coffee is, we all like coffee. Most of us are having, at least 1 cup a day. The more coffee you have, the more of an impact this is going to have on your immune system. So as you know, when you have a coffee, it gets into the bloodstream quickly. You can feel it. That's why we have it. It has a biochemical effect on your makeup, your system. You can feel the effects of coffee. But because it is so powerful and strong, our body will prioritize caffeine, any type of caffeine. So whether that's from other types of caffeine as well. Our body will prioritize caffeine getting into the bloodstream, which means it will prioritize that over other things that should be getting in there that are going to help us have a strong immune system, other vitamins and minerals. And having lots of coffee, so it's going to not only reduce the amount of or the speed that we can get vitamins and minerals in there, but it's also going to have an impact on our blood sugar balance. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because coffee is a stimulant. It creates the blood sugar to spike. It brings out adrenaline, cortisol into the bloodstream, and that's when you start to feel that perk, you feel that wake up. And then when you have that crash where it comes back down again, that's when you find that you need another one. So you start to go into a bit of a cycle with caffeine, which is what you want to try and avoid, especially if you're trying to maintain your energy levels out throughout the day. This will have a big impact. The more coffee you have, the more you will need it. So talking about cigarettes and alcohol here, these are another big two that are really going to impact the immune system. Now, cigarettes and alcohol are toxins. They are very, very toxic to the body. We all know that. We know how you feel the next day after you've had too many cigarettes or too much alcohol. It creates more of a burden on the liver. Now, your liver is the organ that is designed to detox any hormones. It's designed to detox toxins, toxins from the body, but also toxins that have been put into the body, so cigarettes and alcohol. Now, if you are putting extra toxic burden on the body and you're making the liver have to work harder to clear the toxins that are in there, you're preventing the body from being as efficient as it can be. Now, for your immune system to be strong, your body needs the correct energy, or it needs the right amount of energy for the immune system to work, but it also needs to make sure that the other systems in the body aren't in overdrive. And if you're putting your liver into toxic burden by having too much coffee, too much alcohol, too many artificial sweeteners, even too much over-the-counter medication, so paracetamol, ibuprofen, these create toxic burden on the liver. It's going to be harder for your body to detoxify, again, having an impact on the immune system. So trying to minimize that. And then dairy. So dairy is a big one, especially if you are ill. Now, dairy is not bad, essentially, you know, if it doesn't cause you any issues. It's not, I wouldn't say that you want to be drinking pints and pints of it a day, because remember, dairy is essentially there to grow a baby cow. There's a lot of protein in there, there's a lot of hormones in there. Anybody has any sort of hormonal imbalance in the body, having too much dairy is going to have an impact on your hormones. But dairy in particular for the immune system, especially if you are feeling ill, is that it creates mucus. You know how it is when you drink milk, you feel the coating on your tongue, it sort of gets that cloyy feeling. That is going to create more mucus in the gastrointestinal tract, which means your body's going to have more of a hard job clearing it to get it out. So if you are feeling ill, again, you really want to try and avoid dairy to stop that mucus production. So junk food, processed food, takeaways, again, these things, it sounds like I'm being mean and telling you not to eat any of the fun things in life, but these are things that are really going to have an impact on the immune system. Again, junk food, processed food, takeaways, all of this is going to have an impact on your body's ability to clear toxins, because you think these processed foods are not designed to give you a healthy body. They're not to give you a healthy body, but they're not designed, we haven't evolved with processed food. We haven't evolved for hundreds of thousands of years with additives and sweeteners and hydrogenated vegetable oils, because our body is used to real natural food, and that's why it takes a lot more effort for our body to digest anything that is not actually real. So real fruits and vegetables, or whether that's any type of meats that you're having. So trying to minimize processed foods, because again, you're putting toxic burden onto the body and making your digestion have to work harder. Same with processed meats. The additives that are put into processed meats to be able the meats to stay longer puts burden on the liver, puts burden on the immune system, puts burden on the digestive system. So trying to avoid anything that is like the salamis, processed hams, anything that doesn't actually look like it's from an animal, it's been processed to be into that way, they are not going to be good for the immune system. Likewise, microwave food. Microwaving zaps the nutrients in the food. So the best way to heat food up is through slow cooking. So if you're going to heat something back up again, either in a pan or the oven, because you want to keep the nutrient content in the food. There's no point in putting the nutrients, there's no point in zapping all the nutrients and then eating the food, because you're losing all the goodness. Cooking it up slowly is going to be much better for you than microwaving it. And then just one here is, this is specifically for Corona, is about the alcohol-based mouthwash. So some of you, I'm guessing you use Listerine, the antibacterial mouthwash that's just supposed to blast all of the bacteria in your mouth. And I remember, our gut has a microbiome and our mouth has a microbiome, and microbiome is the bacteria in there. So if you are completely wiping out the bacteria in your mouth because you're using antibacterial mouthwash, your body is going to have more of a hard time. This is the first line of defense of pathogens. Now, any sort of mucous membrane you have in your body, so whether that's the liquid from your eyes, your nose, your mouth, is packed with antibodies, it's packed with enzymes, it's packed with bacteria, and all of these things are the first line defense of your immune system. If you're completely blanket wiping out that immune system, it means that pathogens are going to get into the bloodstream quicker. So you do want to try and avoid anything that is just completely blasting out the bacteria, because that's going to have an impact on your microbiome. So then what strengthens the immune system? That would make more sense to talk about, because that's what we really want, is to strengthen the immune system rather than just talk about what we can't eat. So I'm going to talk about these in a little bit more detail, and please, if anybody does have questions as they come along, you can either put it in the notes, I'll answer at the end. But the best thing you can really do is eat fruits and vegetables. Real fresh fruit and vegetables is nature's multivitamin. You really should eat fruit and vegetables like your life depends on it, because it does. The way that our immune system gets strong is through the fruits and vegetables we eat. Fruits and veg have what's called phytonutrients in them, or phytochemicals. And these chemicals are what protect the plant. And it protects the plant from invasions, from bugs, from viruses in the plant world. But when we eat these ourselves, it also has an impact on our body. Plants can be antiviral, antibacterial, anti-tumor, antimicrobial. So the more variety of fruits and vegetables you get, the more of these beneficial phytochemicals you'll get into your body, which we can then use to help build up our immune system. And you really want to be aiming for 8 to 10 fruits and vegetables a day. Now, it sounds a lot, but it is a lot. And that's because you should really be eating real food rather than processed food. And we always used to think of 5 a day as that was, what we were supposed to be eating, but actually the guidelines now have been changed that it is more 8 to 10 fruits and veg a day, because of the impact of how powerful they are to keep your immune system strong, how keep you healthy. So aiming for 2 to 3 types of fruit a day, and then 7 to 8 types of vegetables, because again, fruit is a sugar. Sorry. Fruit is a sugar. It does have the fiber in there, so it will stop the blood sugar from spiking as much, but you do want to make sure that you're getting more vegetables in the diet than fruit. So then I'm going to talk a little bit about the gut here. So at the beginning, I mentioned to you about the gut having 70% of our immune system in there. Now, if you're not feeding the bacteria in your gut with the food that it needs to be healthy and strong, then your immune system is going to be weak. So what does the gut like? What does the bacteria like in your gut? There is a menu for your gut bacteria. And the things that they like the most are the prebiotic foods. So prebiotic foods are things like oats, garlic, onions, leeks, chicory, and asparagus. These are some of the best types of prebiotic food that you can get in the diet. Things that you can eat them raw as well. Onions and garlic are incredible for the immune system. Garlic fends off vampires as well, so we know that it's really strong and powerful. Onions and garlic are really antiviral, antimicrobial. They are one of nature's most incredible defenses against microbes. So getting as much of that as you can in your diet. And then probiotic food is where food that already has the bacteria in. So as I was saying, you want to be boosting the good bacteria in your gut to have a strong immune system. And things that are fermented have the most probiotics in them. So that's your kombucha, the drink, coconut kefir, because remember, you don't want the dairy, because that's going to be mucus producing. Sauerkraut, kimchi, miso. So if you like Japanese food, you can get those in there. These things that already fermented will have probiotics in them, which are good for your gut. So you can also take probiotics. I'm not suggesting anybody here take supplements, because supplements you need to be done on a case-by-case basis. If you have any underlying health conditions or medication, you always need to check what you're taking. So I wouldn't go and just blanket advise people to take probiotics, which you can buy them online, but I'm not saying anybody should do that unless you've spoken to a healthcare professional. But you can get it from the food, so you may as well get it from food. So then on to vitamin C. Vitamin C is a massive one. Our immune system is reliant on vitamin C. When our body is under stress, we use up a lot of vitamin C a lot faster than we normally do. So what you want to do is ensure that you're getting high levels of vitamin C in the diet, so that if you do get ill, your body is able to cope with the levels of infection by using the vitamin C. So although most people think of oranges to have the most vitamin C in, yes, oranges are good, but you want to be making sure that you get the full orange in you. There's no point in just having orange juice, because you're removing all the pulp, you're removing all the fiber. And when you remove all of these parts of the plant, you are removing all the phytochemicals as well. So essentially orange juice, you're just getting the sugary part of the fruit and not all the goodness that comes with it. So trying to eat the whole fruit is going to be much better for you. But one of the best forms of vitamin C is red peppers. Red peppers have got so much vitamin C in, and if you can eat it raw, fantastic. They've been on the vine longer than the greens and the yellows and the oranges, which means they've had more time to mature, which means they have more phytochemicals in them, which are great for the immune system. So red peppers are incredible, and so are kiwis. Kiwis are another really good source of vitamin C. People do ask about supplements. Should you be taking vitamin C? Vitamin C is generally quite a safe vitamin for supplement for people to take. I find that a lot of supplements on the market have 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. People think that's great, let's take loads, but your body only absorbs as much as it can in one time. So if you're taking 1,000 milligram tablet of vitamin C, the likelihood is you're just going to urinate a lot of it out, because vitamin C is water soluble, which means that it doesn't get stored in your system. So if you're taking vitamin C supplements, you want to take it 3 times a day and break it up into doses up to a maximum of around 1,000 milligrams a day, because otherwise you're just going to pee it straight out. Vitamin D. So vitamin D is another really big one that we need for the immune system. As you know, we get vitamin D is activated, through the sunlight, which converts into our body, which then we can use it for, which helps our body fight, our immune system fight and be nice and strong. Living in the northern hemisphere, we don't get anywhere near as much vitamin C or vitamin D, as we need, because we spend most of our lives indoors. You really need around 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight on your face and your neck for the vitamin D to be activated. And you also need it to go through your eyes. So wearing sunglasses can stop the conversion of the vitamin D. And it's likely, again, that we're not getting that now, especially because we are so high, so much north of the equator, that we aren't getting the levels of vitamin D needed to activate. So a lot of people are on vitamin D supplements. You can look into vitamin D supplements. I'm not suggesting anybody goes and buys them without speaking to someone first, but you can absolutely buy them to top that up. But you can also get it from mushrooms, oily fish, and eggs. And oily fish you do want to be eating anyways 3 times a week at least, which is things like salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring, because these are the most, these have got lots of essential fatty acids in. And then zinc. Zinc is another really important mineral that you need for the immune system. Zinc is found in chickpeas, lentils, in a lot of nuts and seeds. Zinc works as, or it helps boosting interferons in the body. And an interferon is essentially a part of our cell that interferes with the virus replicating. So if you can get a lot of zinc in the body, you're going to stop the virus replicating at such a fast rate, which means you're not going to be getting as ill, and the infection should last less. So getting a good mix of all of those, chickpeas, lentils, nuts, seeds, is going to be great for you. So then talking about superfoods. So garlic is absolutely one of the best superfoods out there. Eating it raw is probably the best way to do it, and I know that doesn't sound great to a lot of people. If you can eat it raw, if you could have it with some sort of apple cider vinegar, mix it with turmeric, ginger, lemon, make it into a tea and just knock it back, especially if you're ill. That's going to be really good to get you feeling better. You might not like the taste of it, but you will be feeling a lot better if you can have a nice concoction of raw garlic. And if that's just absolutely a no-no for you and you can't face the idea of having garlic, you could look at getting black garlic. Black garlic is aged garlic. You can buy it in jars or tins, glasses in the supermarket. And it has almost a jelly consistency. It's like a balsamic vinegar flavored gummy bear. And you can have it raw. It's a lot more palatable and it doesn't have that odor that raw white garlic does. So you could definitely look at getting that. And then beta-glucans, again, are a big part of the immune system. So I mentioned them already with the mushrooms there and the vitamin D. Mushrooms are incredible for the immune system. Not only just, sort of run-of-the-mill buttoncut mushrooms, but if you can get more shiitake mushrooms, reishi mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, any of the more exotic type of mushrooms, will be really good for the immune system. They're really antiviral, immunomodulating, they're anti-cancer, they're anti-tumor. Getting mushrooms in your diet is going to be a big one. And oats as well. So oats, again, big form of beta-glucans. These help remove cholesterol in the body, and also they're packed with beta-glucans, which are good for the immune system. And then for those of you that like your green smoothies or your green drinks, you can look at wheatgrass and barleygrass powder. These are algae. These are, again, fantastic for the immune system, great source for vegans as well and vegetarians. Just doing a shot of wheatgrass or barleygrass is going to be amazing for the immune system. And then water. Water is essential. I'm going to talk a little bit about hydration as well in a minute for if you do get ill, but water, as always, you know, whether you're ill or not, you want to be having 1.5 to 2 litres a day. If your wee does not look like an expensive champagne, then you are not drinking enough water. You need to dilute your urine more, so you need to be flushing out the system with water. And remember, every time you have a coffee, it dehydrates you. It means that you need to replenish that fluid with water. So if you're having 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day, your body's going to be really dehydrated. That's why you keep needing coffee, because it's diuretic. It makes you go to the loo. So trying to get more water into the diet. And I've just put supplements on the end because I've had quite a few questions on this lately. I have briefly touched on them about the vitamin C and the vitamin D. Again, I wouldn't advise anybody just to go out and buy any supplements, because unless you've spoken to someone, especially if you're on medication, because you really need to check for interactions on there. Vitamin C is probably the safest form of supplement to have, but if you can get it from, you know, eating a red pepper a day is probably going to be cheaper than buying a good quality multivitamin, because there are a lot of multivitamins out there. Unless you speak to someone who knows what they're talking about, the likelihood is you're just paying for expensive wee, because they will not be the good, quite high quality ones that a practitioner can get you. So I'm just going to talk about now what you should do, eat or drink should you get ill. So especially this is in relation to corona, but also just generally if you do get ill, any sort of respiratory infection, any type of illness with a fever. So hot teas are essential, and that's because hot fluids break down the mucus in our gastrointestinal tract. It loosens the mucus and it gets rid of it. And what we want to do is get the mucus back down into our stomach, where our digestive juices can work on the mucus and kill any bacteria that has been secreted into the mucus, or anything that we've ingested as well. So you get it down into the stomach, kills the bugs. It's going to work really well. So the herbs that I would suggest here are thyme, ginger, lemon, turmeric, and yarrow. So yarrow in particular, I'm going to start with. Now, some of you have probably never heard of yarrow. Yarrow is a herb that you can buy online, just like a yellowy white type of looking herb. Yarrow induces a fever, induces sweating. Now, why you want to induce sweating if you are ill is because you're trying to get the body's toxins out. Now, it might sound counterintuitive, you know, you think you're ill, you get fever, automatically you want to take a paracetamol, you want to take an ibuprofen to reduce the fever. But what you're doing is completely counterintuitive. Your body creates a fever so that it can speed up the reactions of killing the virus or the pathogen or whatever it is in your body. If you think back to school, when you're in a science lesson, you heat things up to speed up the reactions. That is what your body is doing. So when you're ill and your body creates a fever, it is trying to speed up the process of killing killing any pathogens in the body. And that's why you get that temperature. So if you're just taking a paracetamol or ibuprofen and you're reducing the temperature, you're slowing down the reaction rate. And it means you're also putting more burden on the body of getting out getting the fever over and done with and getting rid of the illness. So yarrow is a really good one that will induce sweating, You're going to bring the temperature up, which means that you're going to be able to kill off the bugs faster. So if I was to suggest, if you were to all go away and make a tea that is going to be good for you for the next few weeks, I would suggest ginger, so grated ginger or chopped up ginger in water with some turmeric, so just the spice, just put it into the saucepan, a little sprig of lemon or a squidge of lemon as well, and just let it stew for like 5-10 minutes, keep it on the hob and drink it all day. Those are going to be great for the immune system because ginger is really, really powerful as well. Lots of antimicrobial properties in there. The yarrow, if you wanted to have it again, you can mix it with anything. If you are ill, it's going to be good to get you sweating. Thyme is a good one for, it's like an expectorant. So if you are struggling with a cough and you have thyme, ginger, lemon in a tea, it does taste a bit weird at first. It's like you should be putting it on a pizza or something. But you do want to be, it's a good for you. You do want to be taking it to get rid of any mucus. So going on from that, you want to be taking hot baths. That's probably the last thing you feel like doing when you are having a fever. But again, if you can induce the sweating, you're speeding up the reaction, you're getting the fever over and done with, you're getting the pathogens and the viruses to be killed off a lot quicker. So a hot bath with Epsom salts, which are going to be nice and relaxing, induce the sweating to help speed up the reactions. So sleeping with your window open is a big one. You know, it's really advisable that you do this generally because there's a lot of research out there to say that, you know, sleeping with window open, having fresh air is better for your body and your immune system generally. But in particular, if you have a fever, sleep with your window open because you're going to let the body cool down a little bit better as well. So it's better to do that than it is just to take a paracetamol. And then overeating here. So a lot of the time when you are ill, you don't want to eat. Your body naturally shuts off your digestion because what it is doing is shifting its energy to where it needs it. And the body needs the energy for the immune system. So if you're overeating, you're putting more of a burden on your body. It needs more energy to break down the food. So you think, you know, when you eat a big meal, naturally you feel a bit sleepy afterwards, you feel tired, you lose your energy. That's because the energy goes into digestion and it takes a lot of energy to break down food. So trying to have smaller meals and preferably things that are easy to digest. That's why soups are a really big one because they can get into the body quickly. The body doesn't have to work too hard on digestion. So trying not to overeat to put an extra burden on the immune system and the rest of the body. And then sleep, again, like I said, you probably know when you're tired, sorry, when you're ill, your body is naturally tired, you need to rest. Your body is doing that on purpose so that it can shut off the other functions, so that it can stop wasting energy, so that it can really work onto the immune system. So getting as much sleep as you can. You know, the fact now that a lot of us, we're not going out, you know, a couple of nights a week, we do have the opportunity to get in bed earlier and get 7, 8, 9 hours sleep. The more you sleep, the more your body has time to repair. And that's when a lot of infections are fought off, is overnight when the body is still and the body can completely work on boosting the immune system. So trying to get sleep is a really big one. So then we're going to go on to staying fit and healthy during isolation. Now, I think this is quite a big one because, you know, it looks like we could be here for a while. A lot of us are working from home. A lot of people might be going absolutely stir crazy because this could be your 3rd week already that you have been working from home. And it's really, really important to keep on top of both your mental and your physical health during isolation, because not only will this make it easier for when we transition back into the real world again, but it's going to make your time in isolation a lot more bearable. So a couple of tips here that I would suggest for you, which are going to be good to keep you sort of in a routine, but also keep, you know, your body going, your mind going, keeping your energy, your routine going, is waking up and getting dressed at the normal time. So if you find that you're waiting until lunchtime to get dressed or have a shower, or you find that you're still in your pajamas at 7 o'clock at night, you really are going to get your body out of sync. And it's going to make you more lazy if you're sitting there and you're just deciding you can't be bothered to get dressed, you can't be bothered to shower, and it comes to the end of the day and you turned into a bit of a slob. Try and stick with a good routine. Get up, if you've got kids as well, do it like you would normally do on a school day. You want to keep that routine so that your body stays in the routine, so that your mind knows what's happening, so that you don't just start to slip into sort of slob mode, which can be really easy to do, especially if you've got no one to hold you accountable to come into work on time or get up on time. You really want to try and manage that. So talking about regular exercise, you still want to aim for as much exercise as you can while you're at home. So if you've got a Fitbit, if you've got your phone, still try and aim for your 10,000 steps. And that's probably about a good hour's walk. You know, if you do big steps with a fast pace, can you try and get 1,000 steps up during the day? Now, not only the steps, you know, if that's going to be your main form of exercise and the only form of exercise you do, then you do really want to try and get 10,000 steps a day, because not only is walking a great way to fat burn, it's probably one of the easiest ways to fat burn. It's going to be the most accessible thing for everybody. So aiming for 10,000 steps. If you're not going to be doing the 10,000 steps, then you want to be doing regular exercise. And you want to do a mix of both cardio, strength, and more relaxing types of exercise, such as yoga or Pilates. Because if our bodies are under stress, so you shouldn't be doing a high intensity exercise if you're ill. This is for those of you that are fit and healthy when you're not ill. If you're doing high intensity exercise, but you're also in a stressful state. So maybe you've got a lot going on in the family, you've got really stressful work at the moment, you're struggling with financial situation, your body's under a lot of stress. If you then go and do a highly stressful workout, really intense HIIT class, or online sort of fitness that you're doing, you're putting more of a stress onto the body. So you need to manage your exercise to make sure that you're not putting more stress on the body by doing more low intensity forms of exercise. And if you do want to do a lot of high intensity exercise, can you counterbalance that with more gentle things like yoga, walking, and running? Trying to get a bit of mix of everything is going to be the best thing for you. And this is really going to help with the mental health. So remember, a lot of us we're in isolation, especially if you're living on your own. You might feel like you're talking to the walls at the minute. Trying to keep the exercise in there is going to boost your endorphins. Exercise is an opioid. It makes you feel good. So try to keep up with the exercise. Give it as a focus for you during the week. Set the days you're going to do your exercise. You've got that coming. It's going to make you feel better. So looking out for your mental health is going to be key, is the exercise. Yoga, walking, meditation, mindfulness, anything that you can do online, Headspace, Calm, all of these apps are going to help with mental health. It's really important to keep on top of that while we are in this situation, because you will find, that you can end up going into a bit of a spiral if you're not managing that, because we are sort of all stuck inside. So, also look at Audible. If you're fed up of, if you've not been able to get books, or if you haven't got any books, or, there's a month wait on Amazon for them to be delivered, you can look at Audible. Audible's a great way to you can listen to books from there. It's going to help you relax, just take your mind off what's going on. I think every time you turn on the news, it's the same thing. If you find that, you're getting like health anxiety from the stressful situation of seeing the news all the time, then just stop watching it. We are pretty much in lockdown for the next couple of weeks. There's not going to be a lot that's going to change. So stop forcing yourself to look at the news when you know that you're still going to be stuck inside for the next 2 weeks. Change up what you're listening to and what you're watching, because then you will feel a difference when you stop watching it. Staying connected as well is going to be a big one. Staying with friends and family, it can be lonely, especially if you're on your own. You might be going stir crazy. Try and keep in connection. So video calls are such a good way to do this. If you're really missing your family, missing your friends, arrange times like you would if you were going to the pub normally to meet your friends, or you're going out for dinner. Try and make a time to connect with your friends, because human connection makes us feel better. And if you're finding that you are really struggling with any sort of anxiety at the minute, if you're feeling a little bit depressed with the current situation, you need to keep on top of that by having social interactions and human connection, because automatically when you see someone that you like or someone that you love, you have those feelings, the feelings of happiness will come in the body, and which will make us start to naturally feel better. So try to keep connected as much as you can. And for those of you that have got kids that you're living at home with, I feel for you guys, it's a tough one if you're trying to homeschool as well as work. But trying to, rejig the family situation a little bit is going to help you guys in a little bit more. So can you try and get, kids involved with your exercise? If your work's been offering exercise, a lot of companies I'm working with now, I'm doing yoga classes, I'm doing online meditation, mindfulness, and they're all open to families so that everybody can get involved. Can you get the kids involved? There's Joe Wicks is doing his PE class every morning to get rid of the kids involved. Look at trying to create more of a sense of a game with things. So whether that's with the housework, whether that's with the cooking, everybody's lives have been turned upside down right now, but it's just perhaps if you feel like you're struggling with what's been going on, especially, and this applies to those of you that are living with housemates as well, can you just sit down, have a little team meeting and work out a way for everybody to pull their weight, but just to take the stress off everybody, so we know who's going to be doing what, who's going to be in charge of cooking or cleaning this week, something just to make yourself a bit of a rota so that you're not feeling overwhelmed with everything else that is going on. And finally here, just on adjusting your portion sizes. So this is, again, really big one to make sure that you're staying fit and healthy during isolation. If you find that you have just completely turned into a Netflix watching slob while we've been in isolation, you do not need to be eating the same portion sizes that you would if you were, working 5 days a week and you're running around on the tube and you're commuting and you're going to the gym. So obviously I would not encourage anybody just to sit on the sofa and watch Netflix the whole time. We'll talk to you a little bit about exercise, but adjusting your portion sizes is a big one, because you do not want to be eating more than the energy you are expending. So don't just be eating the same portion sizes out of habit, because if you genuinely are staying at home and you're not doing more than a couple thousand steps, if it comes to 6 weeks down the line and you've done that, you're going to notice that you're probably going to start to be feeling a little bit unhealthy, because you'll be putting on weight because you're not expending that exercise. So that's why it's really important here to balance the energy with what you're eating with what you're expending through all of the exercise there. So just on to, I think the last slide now here is, I want to talk about how to maintain your energy and focus when you're working from home. So this is it's going to be a tough one for a lot of people, especially if you are living on your own and working from home, and you find that a snack, a coffee is something that you look forward to in the evening or the afternoon or the morning. Unhealthy snack especially. You want to just look at what you're eating throughout the day. So there's usually a reason that we have a caffeine or a sugar crash in the afternoon, and that is often because we are not fueling ourselves throughout the day properly. So if you're someone that's fasting and you don't eat breakfast, and then you come to lunch, you eat just a small lunch, maybe you have a salad or a soup, and you get to 3 o'clock and you need a coffee or you need a cake or a biscuit, you're not fueling yourself enough in the morning for your body and your mind as well. Your energy, your brain uses up a lot of energy. You're not fueling yourself enough to keep your body full throughout the day. So if you're a person that is saying, I've never eaten breakfast, but you're also having 3 coffees and you're having 4 biscuits in the afternoon, then you need to start thinking about bringing breakfast into the diet. And this is good for everyone. Having 3 meals a day is great to boost your metabolism. It gets the metabolism started off earlier in the day. And trying to get these 3 regular meals in will have an impact on how you feel throughout the day. And it will also have an impact on how you sleep, because as your blood sugar drops, then your body starts to go into this bit of a roller coaster, and that's when the blood sugar drops, you get a bit hangry, you go find something sugary, something sweet, something with caffeine to boost you back up. And as you continuously go on this blood sugar fluctuation throughout the day, that's going to start to have an impact in the evening as you sleep. If you have something sugary or sweet before you go to bed in the evening, or after dinner, you'll wake up in the night often because your blood sugar has dropped again. So trying to get 3 regular meals a day will have an impact on that. And just a note on fasting there, because I know some people do fast. Fasting tends to work better for men because of their metabolism. It's just how they work. Women's metabolism tends to work better if you eat every 2 to 3 hours, not a full meal, but if you're having breakfast, then maybe you have a snack a couple of hours later, then you have lunch a couple of hours after that. Women tend to work better on that. But again, you've got to play around with it. Everybody's body is completely different. So I said on there about healthy snacks. So can you try and fill your store cupboard with things that are healthy, so that you've got healthy snacks to go to rather than those bad snacks? And when I say healthy snacks, I'm thinking of things like, can you do apples with nut butter? You get that nice Meridian nut butter. Can you do hummus with, carrot, cucumber, red peppers, because you get your vitamin C in there? Could you do chia seed puddings? They're really easy, just chia seeds, coconut milk, bit of coconut shavings or some raisins or whatever you want in there. Put it in the fridge for a couple of hours and you've got yourself a snack. Handful of nuts and seeds. You're getting a lot of your omega-3s in there. You're getting your zinc in there as well. It's good for your immune system. Unsalted nuts and seeds are going to be really good for a snack. And then if you're home as well, what about a smoothie? Can you do a smoothie? Can you make something that's going to fill you up? Just put some peanut butter in there, maybe some oats. If you're having smoothies, then go for more vegetables in there than fruit. You normally want to aim for about 80% vegetables, 20% fruit in a smoothie, just to keep the blood sugar balance good. Exercise I've already talked about actually. So again, remember the mix of cardio, strength and the relaxing exercise, so that if you are stressed, you need to make sure you're bringing your stress levels down, because stress has a huge impact on the immune system. When your body is under stress, your immune system is dampened down. And that is why you'll often find, if you're a person that's highly stressed and you go on holiday, you'll often get ill. And that means that your immune system's had the time to kick in. And then again, just quickly onto the caffeine here. So avoiding the caffeine, like I said, caffeine's going to have an impact on your blood sugar. It's going to have an impact on your immune system as well. So try, if you can, a lot of people just have caffeine out of habit. So if you can try to wean yourself off caffeine by doing it 1 cup of coffee less a week, and the next week 2 cups of coffee less a week. Do it slowly. Try and wean yourself off gradually, because caffeine has an impact on your blood sugar. And then I said power nap here. So if you are at home and you are working from home, take this opportunity for a power nap. If you really feel that you need a coffee hit, instead, just go for a quick 20-minute power nap. 20 minutes is the perfect time so that you don't fall into the deep sleep, so that you end up going into a deep sleep phase and then you wake up feeling groggy. 20-minute power nap, or whether you do some sort of breathing, meditation, mindfulness, will give your mind a rest, and you will 100% feel better and more energetic after it. And it probably will mean that you don't need to have the coffee. And again, as I said, breathing, meditation, mindfulness there. Any type of, you've got the apps you can use, YouTube, anything online will help you relax the body, but just use this when you do need energy, to boost your energy and your focus. It will help you for that. And then finally is just 7 to 8 hours sleep here. So like I said, use this opportunity when we're not out 3-4 nights a week to get your good sleep in, because you will feel so much better. Use this opportunity to energize the body, refuel, and just repair. And also remember, this is the time that your immune system will really kick in, is during sleep. So that is the end of the talk. So I'm going to go through the questions now. If anybody's got any questions, then please feel free to put them in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, then I think we're going to allow you to do that as well. And if anybody has any questions on there, and these are my contact details there if you need me. And if anybody is interested in a free 30-minute discovery call with me, if you've got any health concerns that you want to discuss, then we can book that in. And like I said, I specialize a lot in women's health and IBS. But I think we're going to go to the questions now. So I will, let me just stop sharing here. I've got the questions here actually. So let me see. Would yogurt be a probiotic? So yes, yogurt is good as a probiotic. Only thing with yogurts is you've got to be careful that you aren't having yogurts with a lot of sugar in. So anything that has a flavoured yogurt will have a lot of sugar in, and I'm talking a lot of sugar. Like a Muller Light here could have maybe 11 grams of sugar, and I think your full daily allowance is about 26 for a girl. So you want to check that you're not having too much sugar in there. Natural Greek yogurt is absolutely the best type of yogurt to get for probiotics in there. Fasting for the immune system. So I wouldn't advise you fasting if you're ill. You still need the nutrients in the body. But what I would say is, if you are, if you're the person that normally fasts, try and just cut down your eating window. So rather than just skipping a meal, can you cut down your eating window to 6 or 8 hours a day? So say you have your evening meal at 7 o'clock and you have your breakfast the following day at 8 o'clock, that's already 13 hours of fast. You've given your body some time to work through the digestion, clear out the gut, and then your body will have energy for the next stuff that's going to come into there. So I wouldn't fast and cut out any food if you are actively in an acute phase of illness. But if you are, if you're going to fast, just try and shorten your eating window. And I think that is about it. I think those are all the questions that I had on there. If anybody else has any, please feel free to unmute yourself. I'm going to stop the share. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. I think I've answered all questions.
Yeah, all done. Has anyone got any more questions for Kelly?
Hi, Kelly. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thank you firstly for the talk. Really, really insightful. So thanks again for sharing all your tips. Just had a question about snacks. I love snacks, and I'm finding that I end up snacking so much more at the moment. And I'm craving sort of crisp and savory snacks. So is there anything natural or healthy that I can have that's vegetarian and savory?
Yes. So, I mean, like I said earlier, you can try and do the things like the, you get the hummuses, baba ganoush, any sort of dip that you can have with carrot sticks, breadsticks, that type of thing. Rice crackers are a good one. So if you have rice crackers, you could put avocado, tomato on there, a bit of salt and pepper. I would say, even if you get the nut butters, they're quite good because they've got the protein in there that will keep you feeling fuller for longer. I would say if you are craving a lot of snacks, like I said, it could be that you're not eating enough meals. You haven't got your big enough portion size to keep you full, because we tend to snack when we tend to snack. Sorry, coughing here. We tend to snack when our blood sugar drops because we haven't fueled ourselves properly. So make sure that you're eating correct portion sizes, big portion sizes for breakfast, lunch and dinner, so that you don't have that crash. But if you are going to go for, you know, some sort of savoury snack, you know, your fruit in there's a good one as well. Nuts and seeds are a big one. Could you look at doing things like any other sort of cracker that you've got, like rice cracker, oat cake, that type of thing. If you are going to go for crisps, try and go for more of the healthy options. So, you know, those eat real ones, the you know, like the hippies and the quinoa crisps, that type of thing, because they're slightly better for you than anything like Walker's. But a lot of, you know, raw veg is a great one to snack on. And even though you might think, oh, it doesn't taste as good as a biscuit or as a packet of crisps, your taste buds do start to change. As the more healthy food you eat, you generally start to miss less some of the other things. So if you can look at tapenades as well, pestos are good to put onto crackers or to dip in vegetables in there. But also, you know, if you've got leftover meals, just have a little tiny portion of a leftover meal that you've cooked. That should help. So I hope that one answered for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else got a question?
I've actually got a question. You spoke about not eating sugary stuff before bed, but in terms of when you actually eat, is it bad to eat sort of just before bed? Because I eat my dinners like really late.
Yeah, well, yes. So ideally, you want to be eating your dinner around 2 hours before you go to bed. Because if you're eating your dinner and then you're going straight to bed, your body is just sitting on all of that energy. It's not having the time to digest it. It just goes to bed. Now, in the evening or when you go to sleep, your body is trying to shut down its essential systems so that it can repair, so that it can work on flushing out toxins, so that it can do all of these things that it doesn't have the chance to in the day. So if you're eating a big meal and then you're going to bed, your body's got to work through digestion while you sleep. And sleep is the time when your body is trying to repair, it's trying to get rid of everything in the body that it doesn't need, all toxins, just getting everything out through the lymph system. So if you're just eating and then you're going to bed, not only are you just sleeping on all the energy, that you're not having the chance for the body to process it and use it, you're putting more of a burden on the body. So like you really want to be eating, you know, 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Now, if you're eating that late because, you know, you're going to the gym or something like that first, can you look at doing a bit of can you either look at changing when you're going to the gym, doing it earlier in the day, you know, lunchtime, because you don't want to be doing things too late at night, because again, if you're doing a lot of exercise late in the evening, then your body, your adrenaline, adrenaline's rushing. It's a stress hormone is released. That's why you have energy after you go to the gym. If you're having a lot of energy in the evening and you're eating a lot of food, you're putting more of a burden on the body. That's why you really want to try and bring it all down a little bit earlier in the day. So if you can, ideally 2 to 3 hours is going to be the best time to eat, so that your body still has the time to get through the digestion or the bulk of it, and for it to use that energy for the rest of the evening when you're moving around.
Amazing, thank you.
I hope that helped. Anybody, any other questions? And if you want, you've got, I think I put my email up on there. So if anybody has any questions, then please do let me know. You can drop, if you want to drop me a call as well. So I hope you enjoyed this GreenJam session. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. But if you do have any questions, please let me or Terry know. It's been lovely sharing it with you guys. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe. Stay at home.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. That was really, really informative. And yeah, I mean, I thought that I'd known a lot about this already, but there was some stuff in there that was quite interesting, especially not doing like high intensity when you're sick, and trying to, you know, doing more of the low intensity. And
yeah.
I can understand that, because sometimes we're pushed for time, so we're like, oh, we'll just do a hit session sort of thing. But I can see, like, you know, the reasoning behind
absolutely
that.
You should not be exercising when your body is already under stress, because your body needs all the energy it can get to fight for the immune system. So do not put any type of extra burden on the body when you're not feeling well, because it will take longer for your body to heal.
Exactly. And yeah, just thank you so much for that. I'm sure all our Green Jammers really appreciated it. So thank you, Kelly. And just to let you know, everyone, we're doing this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. So Green Jam is running strong during these times. And next week, we've got Tessa Morton. And guys, I hope you remember her from the presentations workshop she did. I think it was the last one we did, actually, to tell you the truth, which was really well attended. And she's doing a webinar for Green Jam next week called Staying Connected, sorry. And that's about keeping the personal and authentic sort of connection when using digital meeting apps. So that's really, really, really important in this time. And also just talks about managing large meetings on screen and how to actually, talk on the screen and the do's and the don'ts. So that will be open for registration probably tomorrow. So look out for that, and we'll be sending emails to you guys also directly so you can register for that. So yeah, I just want to say thank you, and yeah, have a great evening, everyone, and keep safe.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.